A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3. I thought we knew our ABCs, 1, 2, 3. Now let me explain it to the world. Oh yes, it's called the bypass technique and it's as easy as A, B, C. I want to take you back about 8 years ago. I'm teaching a new hire sales training class. And I'm teaching them a technique that allows them to defer answering a prospect's question until they have enough information to answer it accurately. This is called the bypass technique. And it consists of A, acknowledge their question. B, that's bridge or use a phrase to change the subject slightly. And then C, control, that is ask a question to gain back control of the conversation. I have this displayed on a flip chart behind me. I explain it to my class. I then provide 3 examples of it. I then hand out a sheet of paper that contains 15 different ways to acknowledge, 15 different phrases to bridge, and 15 different questions to ask to gain back control of the conversation. I then tell them to work on this, pick out one of each and go to work on it. I knew I had armed them with all the info they needed to put this technique to great use. So here it comes, proud teacher moment. Wait for it. In the next sales class, I ask each of my sales students one by one to demonstrate the bypass technique. Yes. No one could do it. This was my wake-up call. For the next hour, all I did was work with each salesperson until they mastered it. I thought we knew our ABCs, but when I realized we didn't and knew it was my wake-up call, it was time to change my approach to teaching and training to get better results from those I was entrusted to grow. But how was I going to do it? More on that in a little bit. What I'd like to do right now is explore the possibilities and then enter day 1 of sales training class. So what if the following results are possible? What if you could take a group of strangers, meeting for the first time, and get them to form a deep, strong bond with one another? What if this were possible? And then what if that deep, strong bond led to a learning environment that led to accelerated growth and better performing employees? And then what if that approach to training led us to a learning environment that yielded a culture of ongoing growth and development with your people in the workplace? What if all of this is possible? So I propose an approach to training that I stumbled upon on purpose, which leads me to day 1 of sales training class. So imagine you're one of 10 people entering a bustling showroom of a car dealership. It's the first day of work, so you're nervous. But then you think about it. You say, hang on a second, it's the first day. You know how typical first days go. You get a chance to ease into things, to relax, to get comfortable. So I introduce everyone. And then I announce that everyone is going to give a presentation on one of the vehicles on the showroom floor. You have 5 minutes to prepare. Can I just tell you, this sends an absolute shockwave of stress over the room? And if that is not enough, we follow each presentation with peer critiques. Yes. Listen, there's something just a bit risky about offering someone advice that you don't really know. So you're going to offer advice to someone you don't know, so that person and the rest of the class can return the favor to you a few moments later when it's your turn to present. So listen, I insist on hearing several critiques after each presentation. This is almost as unnerving for the person giving the critique as it is the person receiving it. Meanwhile, I'm feverishly taking pages of notes of all that I'm seeing, all that I'm observing and hearing. This day's been a little bit unsettling just because it hasn't started as people anticipated. But we're headed into the training room where we can actually relax and get comfortable. So we get in the training room, pairs are formed. We ask them to exchange backgrounds, interests, talents, And then as they get to know one another well enough, I introduce the next activity. The next activity is I'm going to ask each person to come up to the front of the room, give a 2-minute presentation on the person you just met, explaining why this person is the best candidate to join our sales team, as if the rest of the class is a panel of managers trying to decide who to hire. Whether you realize it or not, a wave of discomfort rocks the room. Now, we finish each of these presentations and we ask everyone to vote for who gave the best presentation, thus sparking discussion, and then this is followed by more comfort and joy. So by this time, I have accumulated pages and pages of notes, and it is time for me to share my observations. Now, I'm interested in sharing a little bit of praise, but really, it's primarily going to be critique because I need to unveil 2 things. One, that there's plenty of room for growth. And so I get nitpicky with my critiques. And then 2, how well do you handle critique? Because this is going to be one of the primary ways that we're going to grow. So as I start to just read through my pages of critique, just start, a cloud of doubt comes over the room. You can see it on their faces. Am I even fit for this role? Classmates wonder. So I'm setting the stage for a learning environment that's rooted in being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And by now, everyone, even the seasoned salespeople, are completely out of their comfort zone because almost everything that's come their way has been unexpected. So the day continues with several twists and turns, and there's a variety of other activities that we'll engage in. But there's one other activity that towards the end of the day that we must complete. And I call it H3. And it stands for Hero, Highlight, Hardship. I ask everyone to make note of the following. Who is the hero of your life and why? What is the highlight of your life and why? And what is the greatest hardship you've endured? As they take notes, I ask who would like to volunteer to share first. Now, it's extremely important that I ask for a volunteer. I cannot pick the person to do this because this next activity is going to require courage, although the results will be illuminating. See, it's easy for most people to share who their hero is, to tell of a parent, a coach, a teacher, or mentor and how they've served you well. Man, that's an honor. Then to go to the highlight, you get to share some magical moment in front of your new peers. It's a pure joy to share of that thrilling event as the class learns more about you. That's a beautiful thing. But it's this next question that's going to take the room to a deeper level. And that's why this first person must volunteer, because it's going to require them to have the courage to lead. I asked the class to do something I call voluntary vulnerability when they answer the question, what is the greatest hardship of your life? And if that first person will be real with everyone, then everyone else in the room will follow suit. So the first person says, hey, I made some mistakes in my life, and I found myself homeless for 3 months. Another person says, addiction got the best of me, and it robbed me of several years of my life, and I'm just now rebuilding the relationships that I had severed. Another person says, the death of a loved one rocked my world so much so that it has caused these other series of events. Wow. We could not have reached this level of vulnerability and illumination at the beginning of the day. But because of how this day has progressed, something amazing has happened. This bond is being recognized, established, and solidified as they complete this hero highlight hardship activity. And then do you know the most common held theme that will be written about in their journal entries as they write a reflection on their first day of class together? It's this. It's that they felt a stronger bond with the people in the room with whom they had served just one day than the people with whom they had served with at their previous employer for several years prior. As this day draws to a close, this group has been through some challenging exercises together, ending in H3. And listen, when you have the highs and lows of the people's lives that you just met, You feel like you have a good sense of the whole person, and this transforms the learning environment going forward. But before I touch on that, I want to share with you a powerful tool that led me to get better results in my learning and teaching environment in the workplace. You see, when I realized that we didn't know our ABCs, I went back to the drawing board. Literally, I drew this. This is called a visual coaching strategy, and it's something I share with every one of my sales classes because it's designed to hold me accountable to create a better learning environment. So listen, although simple in its construction, this flip chart visual contains everything that I desire to achieve with my people in each of my classes. So that foundational level is personal growth and development. It doesn't matter the activity, the drill, or what we're doing, we're consistently trying to grow the individual. As a matter of fact, one of the most common responses to the class is people are pleased with how much they've grown over the several sessions together. Next, foundational level is differentiation. And differentiation is the name of the game because this is a sales class. And salespeople must learn how to separate themselves from the competition in a positive way. So those represent our foundational level. Next are the pillars, and the pillars are represented by both the customer experience and the business strategy. And so each salesperson must see themselves as owning their own business within a business. And they must write out a strategy of what it is they're going to do to stand tall amongst their competitors and to attract people to them. And one of the things that they must write about in this strategy is how they're going to create a delightful customer experience that covers both pillars of support. Now, in the middle, sales is the open door. We're going to teach relationship building, how to better guide people towards their wants and needs. Why? Because these folks, it's how they're going to make their living. It's how they're going to provide for their family and move closer to their goals and dreams. So as we enhance their sales skills, we notice that their confidence and competence improves. That's our rooftop of success. RAIN is the ultimate test for this structure. We want each of these classes to embrace difficulty, hardship, discomfort, symbolized by cold, wet rain. As we continue to put them in uncomfortable circumstances, they learn to think quickly on their feet to adapt and form a team. And then as we continue to work on enhancing their skills and developing them, we notice that their confidence and competence goes through the roof. The window represents vulnerability. That is, you must let people see who you are on the inside if you want to get maximum results. And then last are those bricks. Those represent those exercises, activities, and drills that need to be built upon brick by brick. That is repeated over and over again so that they're internalized and these can actually be put to good practical use. You know, these are those A, B, C techniques that need to make it into their repertoire. So listen, whether it's doing challenging exercises together, memorizing vital information, or giving each other feedback, the class learns to pull for one another. This creates a class of accelerated learning, team camaraderie, and a heightened focus for learning. But how do we get there, managers and leaders? I submit that you create your own visual coaching strategy. And then from there, you write out all of the techniques, all of the strategies, all of the time investment that you must put into your people to make that picture a reality. You see, when you create your own visual coaching strategy, it makes carrying out your vision easier for recall. And when you can, it's easier to recall it, it means you can execute it more effectively and efficiently. Your vision executed with excellence leads to you having a stronger positive influence on your people. And that stronger positive influence leads to better people and better performing employees in the workplace. And those better performing employees lead to changed lives and changed communities. We can get there by a focused approach to training our people. But it is going to require us to take them on the road of discomfort, the road less traveled, but the one that leads to growth and fulfillment. Now, I submit that it is actually as easy as A, B, C to get these kinds of results. A, Acknowledge a focused path to growing your people. That is, figure out where they are and where you want them to go and grow. B, that's be open to an approach that consistently moves people outside of their comfort zone, and it's actually going to do the same for you. And then C, capture your vision visually. That's create your own visual coaching strategy, and it will encapsulate all that you desire to get and to achieve with those people, your people, to get those dramatic and dynamic results that you so ardently desire of those entrusted under your care. And getting these results are A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3. I say when I take a leap, A, B, C, that's how easy growing your peeps should be.